kind of uncanny, the amount of attention Tua gets on these national talk shows. You had 6 people weighing in this week alone: Kurt Warner, Keyshawn Johnson, Sean Payton, and it's been continuous for 9 months. I'm going to ask you what I asked Frank. Have you been on a treadmill at all the last 9 months, looked up on ESPN or Fox, seen him being discussed? What do you make of the preoccupation with him? Is the scrutiny excessive? Does it just come with the territory?
Well, I think it comes with the territory. I mean, I think it's part of playing the quarterback position. You're always going to be looked at, and I think the year that Tua is in, everybody says, "Oh, this is the important one." But I couldn't be more happy and excited about what Tua's been doing, the growth process that he's had, the information that he's digesting, learning a new offense, again. And he's doing a really good job in it. And, as we talked about, we're just trying to get better each and every day. And this first game is not going to be our best game. We want it to be a good game, and then we want to continue to grow from there. And we want to be playing our best football when it's really going to matter.
Coach, there was some talk between Tua and Mike about some communication and headset issues getting playing late in the game on Sunday. I just want to get your perspective on how Tua handled that situation.
I think Tua handled it well. There was, he even did a great job of getting us into a play when we needed to, so we didn't end up having to burn timeouts, or we didn't end up getting delayed games. So handled that well. But for a first game, it was good for us to learn one another. To be able to do that in a game where you win the game. But our game operation is definitely something that we can work on from the head coach to the quarterback to the line making calls to the whole orchestration moving around with all the motions that we're doing. We can continue to get better at that.
Darrell, from studying Tua's tape last year, you probably noticed that he is determined to avoid sacks like most quarterbacks are. So there were some times where maybe he threw passes he shouldn't have. Obviously, Sunday he tried to get a couple out, throwing out of bounds. What's the guidance you give him on whether to take a sack, whether to throw it out of bounds?
Well, you're always trying to play smart situationally. You want to the one where we're on the I think it was like the 29-yard line. We took like a 12-yard sack. You're always trying to understand situations. Hey, we got points here. We don't want to be taken out of points. And I think he had some of that in his head. But always the most important thing is the ball. We have to end the play with the ball. Got to make great decisions there. And I talked about. I think there was like 3 plays. I'm like, we got to get this out of our game. Where you're being slung around because you don't know what's going to happen. The ball comes out of your hand. You sling around, and it ends up in one of the defensive linemen's hands. So we got to make better decisions that way. But as from your perspective, you guys don't always understand where guys were supposed to be protected, where they weren't, and if you're protected or if you're not, quarterback has to understand that as well. Those situations are things that we're continuing to learn from.
Darrell, Tua said that his timing and footwork was off on a couple passes that ended up being shorter off for receivers. I'm curious what you saw in his mechanics on a few of the plays.
Yeah, I like where Tua is at mechanically for the most part. I'm not saying that we don't have plays that we can improve on, but for the most part, he's done an outstanding job with his footwork. I think you can go back and look at some of the plays from last year as opposed to what he's doing this year. It's a major focus for us. He's buying into the focus, and I think he's done a good job with that.
Yeah, I had one more just on the first thing I asked you. Was there a time you did see any of the national pundits, names played in the league, say something about Tua over the last 8 months where you said to yourself, that's unfair, that's ridiculous? I wouldn't ask you who, but has that happened to you?
I can say that I have seen some of it, and whether it's not for me to say if it's fair or not, because people have their own opinions. I'm glad that I'm in the building and know what's going on, and I get an opportunity to watch the guy work every day, and I know what's going on the field. So I'm happy with where Tua is at.